Hi guys, if you're new to the channel, this is Catch Me If You Stream episode 4, and what we do in this video series is we go through Netflix movies that you can watch right now in Australia. So the first movie we're going to talk about is 12 Angry Men. This movie came out in 1957 and is directed by Sidney Lumet, and it stars Henry Fonda and a bunch of other character actors. Basically, it's a courtroom drama. If you haven't heard of it already, it's basically a modern classic. It is a classic. It is intense. It's thrilling. It's basically a jury of 12 men, hence the 12 Angry Men. And it's basically to see if this guy can be acquitted of his crimes based on reasonable doubt. And basically, with a lot of conflict, the fact that it's placed in one room is pretty incredible, and the shots are amazing. The acting, I think the main thing about this video series, this episode of Catch Me If You Stream, is we're going to be talking about powerhouse performances, and basically everyone in this movie gives an amazing performance. Even for nowadays, you watch this movie nowadays, and it still resonates, still holds up, and it's still very tense. And even if you've seen it before and you know the outcome, it's still very tense. And the shots from Sidney Lumet is incredible, and he makes the room, the space in the room, which is just a jury room, a small jury room, make it feel dynamic and basically like its own character. But yeah, it's a really great film that you guys should check out, especially if you want to check out like a classic and you're not really sure what to start with. This one would be definitely on top of the list, and it's not too long either. So the second movie on the list is a movie called Spotlight, and this came out in 2015, and it was my favorite movie of the year, and it's also the Academy Awards favorite movie of the year as well, as it won Best Picture in 2016. So basically it's about the Boston Globe's Spotlight team, which is what they called, and they basically a very deep dive investigation team and kind of under wraps. And this one's based on the Boston Catholic Church, which eventually goes national basically. And they it's a really intense film. Let's start off with that. It's really interesting. It was based in the early 2000s when this whole thing was going on. So when it came to technology, it wasn't so simple to just go on Google and just search what you need to search. It's more investigative information, where it's basically a lot of paperwork, plenty of stories to plenty of people to talk to, and basically this film, just like 12 Angry Men, is full of powerhouse performances, which is another reason why it's on this list. But yeah, it's really incredible. Mark Ruffalo is incredible. Michael Keaton, Rachel McAdams. Who else is in it? Liev Schreiber, John Slattery, and Stanley Tucci. They're a lot of the main stars in this movie, and it's just really well shot. And just like in 12 Angry Men, where I said that Sidney Lumet made the room feel like a character, I feel like that's exactly what the director did here, who's directed by Tom McCarthy. And he done an excellent job and made Boston feel really real, which made it even a bit more intense and a little bit more scary, but it's really emotional ride. I didn't know too much about it. I mean, I've heard things, but I've never actually deep dive into this. So watching this film, it kind of really emotional gut punch. And now that I have 2 kids, it's really hard to watch, but it's so intense and so wonderfully acted and directed, and just beautiful movie that you guys should check. Okay guys, so this third movie we're going to be talking about is called Whiplash. Now this is another intense movie. So basically all these 3 movies are very, very intense, but it's focused on dramatic acting and how the powerhouse performances. And just like Spotlight, I consider that to be a modern classic. I think Whiplash is the next modern classic as well, which came out in 2014, and it's directed by Damien Chazelle, starring Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons. And it's fantastically acted. It is basically based on Damien Chazelle, his background, his music. He has a very heavy musical background, and that's evident in his two films that he's directed so far, this and La La Land. This one's a lot more intense than La La Land, that's for sure. Basically, it's about a up-and-coming achiever that just wants to, he's a drummer. Miles Teller actually learned how to play the drums before he did this movie, and it's basically testing your limits. How far are you willing to go, and how far are you willing to be pushed to be perfect, to reach perfection, basically. And J.K. Simmons, what he does in this movie is very torturous. He throws chairs at him, he throws chairs at everyone, but also specifically the drummers. And he basically drums until he bleeds at one point in this movie. It's really, really well acted. Miles Teller proves that he's a force to be reckoned with in the acting circle when it comes to dramatic acting, and which is really good to see. And also J.K. Simmons, he won Best Supporting Actor in 2015 for this movie, and he definitely deserves it. He really is intense and has some really great powerhouse performance moments, and the last 10 minutes is absolutely riveting. But the directing style from Damien Chazelle, this movie and La La Land proves that he is going to be a future star when it comes to directing, and I can see him being, even with only 2 movies, I can see him being really up there in the echelon. And this has been Catch Me If You Can episode 4, and if you guys like this video, click that thumbs up button, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And I'm hoping to put out as many videos as possible. So yeah, thanks guys.